G'day, how you doing? What are you laughing at? Oh, my hat. Oh, yeah, I bought the hat the other day. Only cost me $10. You see, it's my comedy hat. I'm using it for when I'm a comedian, because I reckon I look like bloody, what was that fellow that had one of those bowler hats? I can't remember his name. Years ago, you know. Charlie Chaplin or whatever his name was. But it's a stupid bloody hat, isn't it? I got this one. This is my favourite one, of course. I like this one. But you don't wear hats. Wait on, just a minute, will you? How's that? Is that better? I got my tie on. I just put my tie on when I'm serious. We have to be serious, because I'm talking about stuff this morning. I'm talking about the employment law again. We're back onto this again. And I've been complaining about a few people. I've got 10 blogs, posts on my blog, and I've written, this is what I've spoken about so far. For those of you who are not familiar with me, my name's Ron Bishop, and I'm doing my life story on video. And I put a story on every morning. Every morning I come on and I do about 10 minutes. This is my 10 minutes this morning. And so far I've talked about the IRD, the police, sport in South Canterbury, Fidelity Life, National Bank, wedding anniversary, Harvey World Travel, hard questions, true stories in the life of Ronnie B, solicitors, lawyers and judges, and tax avoidance. There's some of the posts I'm on my blog. I've got two things I'm going to talk about this morning. One, I'm going to talk about the South Canterbury Hospital Board and the police. And to do that, I need to have some guidance. What am I going to say about the police and the South Canterbury Hospital Board? Well, go to the instructions. I always go to the instructions. Here are the instructions. This is my manual. It's called the Holy Bible. Okay? And whenever things go wrong, I just go to here and have a look in here, and I open it up somewhere. Mainly the ones in red, because there's a bloke in here called Jesus, and God put him into this world to teach us how to live, you see. So I listened to him a bit. He's one of my mentors. But anyway, this morning I want to talk about, I didn't know what to talk about, so I went to the Bible and I opened up just at random and read, you see. It talks about Jesus here, and he said, Jesus went in the temple to God and drove out all those who bought and sold in the temple and overturned the tables and the money changers and seats and those that sold doves. And he said to them, it is written, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but you made it a den of thieves. And he's talking about thieves this morning. And Jesus, this fellow Jesus had a really bad temper. He kicked all those blokes out over there. And then I read here, yes, you have never read, out of the mouths of babes and nursing infants you have perfected praise. Well, what's that all about? One of the words in here is, but when the chiefs and scribes saw the wonderful things he did, the children crying out in the temple and saying, Hosanna, the son of David, they were indignant. So I had to look up some of these words that's in this instruction book. What is a scribe? A scribe is someone who takes records, right? A person who writes things down by hand. And this book is a story. It's about all stories about people, life stories of people. And the scribes are the people that write the stories, that kept the records. And so this morning I want to talk about records. I want to talk about scribes. I'm complaining about the New Zealand employment law because it's wrong. And the reason it's wrong is the government does not know it's wrong. They're sitting in Parliament. How do they know what's going on out in the field? No, they're out in the field. They're not experiencing it. I've experienced it. And what I'm telling you is the truth. That's why I've got the Bible. I'm telling the truth. And I'm telling my story. And I'm telling you about people. I'm using people's names. I don't just have fictitious names. I use real life people. Yesterday I went to see my doctor. His name's Grant Shrimpton. in Timaru. Bloody good doctor. Best doctor I've ever had. But shit, we have some rows. We had a bit of a go yesterday. Misunderstanding over pills. Right? But we've built a relationship over many years. And I like my doctor. Right? And that's what you've got to do with people. You've got to build relationships. Now, let's get back to these scribes again. Just a minute. This morning, at 10 o'clock this morning, I'm going to see the black man. I call him the black man because he's black. I don't know what country he comes from, but he's my shrink. He's in charge of my brain. My doctor's in charge of my body, and the black man's in charge of my brain. And I told him he was a black man. He can call me a white man because I'm white, and he's black. But he's got lovely white teeth, and I told him that. But anyway, we're having a meeting this morning at 10 o'clock. It's going to be me, my wife, Margaret, my daughter Kerry, and Di's going to be there. That's my registered nurse, and Mark will probably be there. He's another one. And there's going to be the black man, which is Dr. Barrathan is his real name. Nice guy, bloody good bloke. I like him. But then we're going to be sitting around, and you know what I'm going to talk about? I'm going to talk about my brain, because I've had a brain scan. Oh yeah, they took a photo of my brain, and we're going to be looking at my brain. A photo of it. Not many people have got photos of their brains. I've never seen my brain. But we're going to be talking about it. Now, what the hell's that got to do with bloody scribes? Well, I went to the police yesterday because I've got this, I'm taking this with me. This here is all my mental health records. Because you know that I shot my brother, don't you? I told you that when I was 16 years of age. I'll get a photo of him, just a minute. Here's a photo of my brother. That's me and my brother on a tractor. That's me on the left there when I was a little shy boy. But this is my brother Trevor and I'm 16, Trevor was 11, and I was teaching him how to drive the tractor. Okay? Now, I shot him through the head. When he was only 11, I shot him through the head and killed him. And that's one of the reasons why we're having a meeting this morning, because it bloody knocked me about real bad, okay? And I had a mental breakdown. They told me I had bipolar disorder. And bipolar disorder is caused by traumatic experiences. If you've had a traumatic experience, your mood swings go up and down. Something terrible. Okay? And they've given it a name. They usually call it manic depression. Now they call it bipolar disorder. Just a minute. So I went to the police yesterday, and I saw another mate of mine called Mark Offen. Is it Mark Offen? Grant Offen? Mark Offen? He's the second in charge of the police station here in Timaru, and I went to see him. And nice guy, bloody good fella, you know. But a bloody useless at keeping records. Ah, jeez. I wanted to see him about a letter that a fella, another one of his cop mates, Kevin McElwain, wrote. Made a complaint about me to the TAT team, which is the mental health institution, because I threatened to kill myself if I had to pay the woman any money, because they said I had to pay her $30,000, and I said I wasn't going to pay it because she was dishonest and all that sort of stuff. And I told them I was going to shoot myself and commit murder, and they got a hell of a fright. But anyway, I wrote a report to the hospital, to the lady at the hospital, and said they were going to come and sell my house. And this bloody cop rung up the hospital lady that's in charge of my mental health, a girl with the name of Jackie Pringle. He rung her up and said, Jackie, this man is going to kill himself. Would you have a look at him? And so Jackie gets on the phone and says, well, rings my wife and says, well, they're going to sell your house next week. You've got a week to sell your house. If you don't pay the $30,000, they're going to sell your house, because I wouldn't pay the $30,000, you see. They're going to sell your house, and they put you out in the street. And this bloody cop wrote this bloody thing, you see. So the reason I went to see Mark Offen was to see the report. Was there a report Did the cop make a report? He wrote to the hospital, but did he keep a report? And there's no bloody report. He never kept a report. And I'm starting to think, hey, this bloody Mark Offen, he wrote a report, but he based his report, he did an investigation, because I complained, and he did an investigation about my situation. But he investigated by going to one of his mates in the cop shop and asking about me, you see, making inquiries about me. But he never went and discussed it with Christine, who's the woman I sacked, and the one I complained about. He never went to see her. And then they went to the Employment Relations Authority, and they had a hearing, an investigation meeting, and this young girl just out of school, she made a decision and said, oh yeah, Christine wasn't dishonest, she didn't do anything wrong and all that. And this buddy Mark Offen wrote, that's what he based his story on. He didn't do any investigation himself. He didn't come and see me and look at the books and see the checks that she'd written out and signed herself and all that sort of stuff, all the fraudulently stuff she did. No, he just did the internal thing. And then, just a minute, I got another story to tell you. We went to mediation, after I sacked this woman, we went to mediation. And they had a discussion, and it was bloody terrible. There's no one took any notes. Nobody took any notes, no scribe, you see. And the woman walked out, Christine walked out with her solicitor, and it was a bloody terrible meeting. And I went back and said, where's the notes? What was discussed? There wasn't any notes. There was no scribe to take the notes. We then went to the Employment Relations Authority, and they had a special investigation meeting. The woman that was supposed to do the investigating never came and saw me, never discussed it with my wife and I. She was supposed to have a meeting with us, but never did. And at the meeting, no one took any notes. There was no scribe there, writing down the notes. So we've got a situation here, we've got all these people are saying things, and no one's writing it down. At least this bloody book here, they wrote it down. The scribe was there writing it down, so you could go back and see what was said. And there's so many things which have not been written down in the New Zealand employment law. And people are getting away with it. It's bloody criminal. When I discovered that Christine was dishonest with me, I went to the police in Timaru and saw a guy called Kevin Burns. And he left the police, and he never kept a record. He didn't write it down that I'd been to see him. And so if he'd have written it down and that I'd been to see him, and he come and he never took a statement from Christine or anything like that, he didn't do his job right. Now, if the coppers are not doing their job right, they're not keeping records, you go to the top, don't you? And the bloke at the top is a fellow by the name of Peter Marshal. So I wrote to Peter Marshal, and I sent all the data up. I sent all the bounce checks and the things, and all the stuff that she'd done wrong, and sent it to this bloke, Peter Marshal, who's in charge. And 12 months later, I haven't got a reply. I got a letter from one of his offsiders saying he's received the letter. But it's 12 months ago, and I still haven't a reply. No, this Peter Marshal has totally ignored me. He's not keeping his notes. He's not scribing anything. He's not writing anything down. He wouldn't even know who I was, right? And this is filtering down to the bottom. And the cops they're getting away with it. They're busy running around bloody cars giving people tickets, instead of doing the job as a policeman. God, it makes you wild. Listen, I just got a minute. Now, this bloke, Kevin McElwain, that wrote to complained to or rung up the hospital and told them about me, told on me, he didn't even come and see me. He went behind my bloody back, and he went directly to the person that was in charge of my brain, Jackie Pringle. from the mental health people, and got her to ring my wife and say they're going to sell my house the next day unless I paid them $30,000. So I have $1 million on me. I put up $1 million and said I'm worth $1 million. I got the sack. The government has sacked me, told me I couldn't be in business, put me out of business. I haven't had an income for 5 years. I'm unemployed because of this bloody stupid law. It's costing me, I worked out about $50,000 in cash for the stupid law. I had to defend myself, no lawyer, all this stuff, and it's all happened to me. And I'm writing my story now. Now, why am I doing it? I'm writing it, as I said to Mark Offen yesterday, the policeman, I said, it's not about Christine and I anymore. Mark, it's not about you and I anymore. It's about the bloody law. It has to change. And someone's going to change it. And if I don't change it, if I don't stand up and say, listen, this is what's wrong, how the hell is the government going to know what's wrong? How do they know what's going on? Well, I'm telling people what's going on. And I've told you this morning. And I'm going to shut up now. And I want you to think about this. And I want you to come online every morning and listen to what I got to say. Because I got some messages. I got some good messages. We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff on this line. Every morning. Okay? So I love you all. And Mark, I'm sorry. Dr. Shrimpton, Grant Shrimpton, we're going to have a beer one day. We're going to go and have lunch together. And get to know each other outside of work. Same with the coppers. We need to sit around and have a talk about this, because they can learn too. They don't know they're not doing wrong. They think they're doing right. Can you understand what I'm saying? We all do things wrong, but we can all learn from our mistakes. So listen, I'll see you tomorrow. You like my hat? See you later. Bye-bye.